All right, so we're going to be using the quadratic formula to solve for this equation, or solve this quadratic equation. Now remember, usually we use a quadratic formula if we can't factor it. Now the first step we need to do, or we need to check for, is our equation in standard form? So is our equation in standard form? Remember, standard form is either f of x equals 0 equals or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So is this equation in standard form? Anybody? Anybody? Is it in standard form? No. How can we make it in standard form? Right, we're going to subtract 4 to both sides so we can make it equal to 0. And if it's equal to 0, then it's in standard form. Well, if it's equal to 0 and it's ax squared plus bx equal to c. So we've got 4b squared plus 8b plus 3. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see anything but x, it messes with my brain. It makes my brain work harder than it has to. I'm not going to do that to myself, so I'm just going to change that b to an x. And at the end, if I want to change it back, then I'll change it back. All right, so now we're going to do what? Now that we have it in standard form, what can we do? Before the discriminant. So yes, the discriminant, but we need to label something before that. Right, we need to label our A, our B, and our C. So my A is 4, my B is 8, and my C is 3. And now, like Diego said, now we find our discriminant. And remember, our discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So I'm going to set up my equation. Wherever we substitute, I'm going to put those parentheses first. And my A will go here. My B will go here. And then my C will go here. So we've got 8x squared minus 4 times 4 times 3. Any questions so far? Okay, now we're going to simplify. We get 64. Then negative 4 times 4 is negative 16 times 3 is 48. And we subtract 64 minus 48. We get 16. Questions so far? All right, so because my discriminant is positive, how many solutions are we going to have? 2 real, yes. 2 real solutions. Thank you, Jesus. So let me recap for those of you at home since I wasn't sharing my screen. So first we made our equation equal to 0. So it satisfies our standard form. Then I changed my b to my x so it doesn't confuse me or make my brain work harder than it has to. We label our a, b, and c. And then we substitute, good morning, sir, or afternoon. We substitute our b values into our equation and we find out how many solutions we have. All right, so now that we know that we have 2 real solutions, now we're going to set up our quadratic formula. We're going to use negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Is that part good? Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, so now remember the discriminant. It's this number here. So all we're going to do is substitute that number. And then our b will go here, and our a goes here. Oh, I shouldn't have used green. Let's use a different color. Pink. All right, so now our equation looks like this, plus or minus the square root of 16, all divided by 2 times my a, which is 4. All right, any questions so far? Questions, questions, questions. Everybody good at this point? Yes? Awesome. All right, so now we're going to simplify. We get negative 8 plus or minus, what is the square root of 16? 4. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Now remember, how many equations do we have here? We have 2 of them, right? One where we add the 4, and the other one where we subtract the 4. So let's set those up. We've got negative 8 plus 4 divided by 8. And then we do the minus 1, where it's negative 8 minus 4 divided by 8. And here we have negative 8 plus 4. We get negative 4 over 8. Negative 8 minus 4, negative 12 over 8. And when we simplify further, we get negative 1/2. And negative 12 over 8, we can divide by 4. We get negative 3 over 2. So our solutions are negative 1/2 and negative 3 over 2. And remember, the other way to write it is negative 1/2 comma negative 3 over 2 with the bracket.